All right, we got two big stories on this episode of the RR Show. It's going to be all from Tales. Tales from your server, Tales from retail. So let's just rock and roll and start this episode of the RR Show with me, Vince, right now. All righty, like I said, our first story is coming from Tales from Your Server, posted by user temporarylumpy8589. 3 of the more outrageous customers I can remember. For those who haven't seen my previous posts, both here and in r/Tales from Retail, while I was in college, I worked 2 jobs, one at a New York-style pizza restaurant and one at a grocery store. Also, in both cases, I worked at more than one location of said store or restaurant because I took transfer opportunities to be closer to the college. Therefore, I have a few short vignettes of some of the more memorable, for not so good reasons, restaurant customer interactions. I'd like to share, though, some of them come from one location of the restaurant and others come from the second. You guys can tell me who, to your mind, the most outrageous customer was out of this list if you want to. Candidate 1, Mushroom Guy. Came into our store, quiet but visibly fuming, and plopped a pizza box down on the takeout counter. The man had driven all the way to our store with a pizza he had ordered for delivery via Postmates to personally show it to us and get a new pizza. He made it clear no refund or gift card would satisfy. He wanted a free new pizza and would wait for it. His issue? I ordered extra mushrooms. This isn't extra mushrooms. We had practically coated that pizza with mushrooms, but he, quote, could still see the cheese in places, and this was a huge issue for him. He was convinced we were scamming him. We tried to explain we used measured amounts for normal and extra toppings for inventory purposes, and we'd used a heaping generous scoop of extra mushrooms already, but he kept insisting we shorted him, and that, for the extra topping upcharge, he should have had more. My manager caved in and got a new pizza made for him. As an aside, this particular manager was spineless towards customers and staff alike. It only lasted a month before he got caught dipping his hand in the till and was fired. Candidate 2, Mr. and Mrs. Chip on Shoulder. We had 3 styles of pizza at this restaurant: 18-inch New York thin crust, 10-inch New York thin crust, and a giant 20-square super thick cut crust Sicilian. On the menu, it warned that the thicker dough made the Sicilian cook exponentially longer than the New Yorkers. One night, when I was on host duty seating customers, a mom and a dad with 2 little kids came in. Mom gave an off vibe from the minute they came in the door. Her face was in permanent scowl, and her manner was patronizing. She gave the vibe that she was already spoiling for a fight. They ordered a pepperoni Sicilian, and Mom rolled her eyes when the server pointed to the menu and informed them how long it was going to take. Mom then said, "Well, go as fast as you can." 6 or 7 minutes later, they summoned the server to ask about the pizza and why it was not done yet. The server pointed, for the second time, to what it said in the menu, and it said it would be at least 20 minutes or more. This lady then went ballistic. 0 to 10 in 1 second flat. You liar. We used to be in a restaurant business. I know how long a pizza takes to cook. You're just a bunch of incompetent... expletive. This is why I didn't want to come here. You charge too much and give horrible service. Her husband backed her up, though, but he kept his volume down. Manager came out to try to defuse the situation and said something along the lines of, "I can have a regular thin crust pepperoni ready in 3 minutes if you prefer, but your Sicilian is still raw and will take longer to cook." Dad just scoffed. Mom turned and addressed their kids. "See, this is what you do when service workers give you bullcrap like this. Never let them get away with crappy work and excuses to be lazy. always stand up for yourself." She then grabbed her two bewildered and presumably hungry kids' hands and stormed out the door. The husband then haughtily told the manager, "Don't bother to offer a gift card because we're never coming back," and followed them. We never saw them again. Candidate number 3, baseball mom. I have mentioned in previous posts that at one of the locations, we got a lot of sports people, mostly high school or little league baseball and soccer teams. Several times we got an influx of 30-odd people at a time during dinner or lunch rush, who would then proceed to behave badly and or let their kids destroy our restaurant, give lousy tips for bad service because they naturally had a very long wait to be seated, and in general were a pain to everyone. It happened enough times that the owner instituted a new policy. Groups larger than 16 had to have a reservation and couldn't be a walk-in. We had signs posted to that effect, and it was on our website as well. After this point, we always had warning and were more prepared when the big groups came. And they behaved a bit better because they didn't have to wait 90 minutes to be seated. Enter baseball mom during one of our quieter times. She, another mom, and 4 little kids in baseball uniforms showed up and asked for a table for 6. It wasn't uncommon for individual families to come after an event, and we might have 3 or 4 families scattered around the restaurant, but they wouldn't be together. I thought this was a similar situation, so I sat them at a large corner table and left them there. But when I came back a little later, baseball mom was moving extra tables and chairs around to extend the size of their table. When we told her she couldn't do that and had to put the tables back, she whined, "But we have a group of 28 coming and we need to sit together. I came ahead to scout if there was room, and you basically are dead right now anyway." She then proceeded to admit she knew about the large group policy, but had tried to sneak around it. We said she couldn't do that, and that they should have made a reservation. The other baseball mom said, "It's okay, we won't all sit together then, no one will mind." But the first mom was not having it. She demanded they all sit in the same section as close together as possible. Our manager had gone for a conference with the owner, so we service and hosts were on our own and didn't really know what to do. So we just said, "We'll try, but we can't guarantee anything." The rest of the group began to steadily trickle in, and we sat them as individual families without any issues. Until baseball mom noticed that we had sat an older couple of normal customers in the booth across the short divider from where her particular table was, because they were regulars and that was the normal table. She was not happy about that. She repeatedly asked us to move them to a different table so some of their baseball group could sit there instead. We of course said no and told her that the table in question wasn't even in the same section as hers, but she said, "There are a ton of empty tables. It can't be that hard for them to move. They don't have any food yet." We still said no, but as soon as our backs were turned, she personally went over to this bewildered old couple and with a huge, fake, sweet smile, offered to help them move their stuff, dishes, napkins, silverware, etc., if they'll just be kind enough to move to another table, so more of the baseball group can sit there. When they stared blankly, she started getting really creepy and even more extra smiley, freaking them out a little. We hurried over and told her you can't do that, but she started getting whiny again with us. "But we want to sit together. Wouldn't they be happier in a quieter part of the restaurant instead near our group?" This is a win-win for everyone. At this point, our oldest server, who actually was acquainted with this lady outside of work due to his grandson also playing baseball, stepped in and told her, "Ma'am, the rest of your group is behaving, so we're not going to kick you guys out. But I know you know better than this. Cut it out and don't ever pull this kind of stunt again, or I'll see to it you won't be coming back." She behaved for the rest of the day after that. But the older couple moved tables anyway because they didn't feel comfortable sitting near her. However, when the last of her group came in, they asked to sit somewhere else and not at the booth next to baseball mom's table. Gee, I wonder why they wouldn't want to be around her. After that day, though, we saw people from that baseball team a few times. We never saw her again. I believe once he heard the story, my manager blacklisted her for harassing other customers. Our second story is coming from r/Tales from Retail. It's posted by user Byros Quill. Old age does not make you less beautiful, dear customer. I work at a mid-range department store. It's not so fancy. People are escorted around when they walk in, but it's nice enough. We're encouraged to chat with customers on the floor and make their experience personal. Can I grab a cart for you? Let me know if you need another size. Are you shopping for a specific occasion? That sort of thing. I'm a social butterfly, so I adore this aspect of my job. A few days ago, an elderly woman comes in. We'll call her Barbara, not her real name. I welcome her to the store, and she immediately starts up a conversation, asking me about my day, the weather, just small talk. We weren't very busy, and there was another cashier in my section for support, so I stepped out from behind the register to walk with her and let her chat. Myself and other staff do this often when we can. We get a lot of elderly customers who just need somebody to talk to. Our managers don't mind, as it often creates repeat customers of these people, and coworkers don't mind because we usually have enough people on the floor to manage. As Barbara and I chat, we started to pass a section of clothing that catches her eye. The brand is exclusive to my store, so instead of calling it by its real name, I'll call it Cutesy. They make cute, comfortable, everyday clothes. Their staple is bright colors and thinner fabrics, and we had just gotten their first batch of their spring selection in. Barbara stopped to look at one of the shirts, and our conversation went something like this. I really like the pattern on this shirt. I used to wear colors like this when I was younger. Oh, what changed? Well, you're a very pretty young girl, so maybe it will be different for you. But as I started to get older, these sorts of clothes just didn't look good on me anymore. Don't say that, Barbara. A shirt like this would look great on you. You're still very beautiful. Thank you, sweet girl, but it's all right. I'll just stick to what I normally wear. Patterns like this are made for young people like you. This is a source of personal heartbreak for me, but I always hated when older people believe their age is ugly. It's a side of unrealistic beauty standards that doesn't get talked about often, at least where I'm at. Older women buy wrinkle corrector, dye the white, and silver out their hair and do everything they can to stave off the evidence of their age until they give up and start to say to themselves, I'm just old and ugly now. Myself and most of my coworkers don't see things that way at all. Many of our customers have aged gracefully, and Barbara had aged downright beautifully. So I pressed the issue just a little bit. Are you sure you don't want to just try it on? You might be surprised. If you don't like it, we can put it back for you and find something else. Well, where's the fitting room? It's in the corner right there. Since we're already here, I guess I might as well. I really don't know about these sleeves though. They'll show off my big flabby arms. That's not an issue at all, but if you really aren't comfortable with the short sleeves, Cutesy makes a few other shirts and dresses with that pattern and have longer sleeves. Oh, they've made a dress? It's hanging on the wall. There, it's shorter, a little past the knees, but it has 3/4 sleeves that will cover your forearms if you prefer them covered. Tell you what, if you can find a large in that dress, I'll try it on just to see. I went over to the wall and happily retrieved a large for Barbara, who took it to the dressing room to try it on. As she did, one of my managers was passing by and stopped to check in on me. While we were chatting about the day, slow and store metrics, struggling but not terrible, Barbara stepped out of the fitting room in the cutesy dress to ask what I thought. Myself and the manager immediately started to gush how nice she looked. And she really did look nice. The dress fit her figure perfectly, and the colors brought out the warmth in her skin. And most importantly, she looked really, really happy in it. She didn't just like the dress, she liked herself in the dress. The most important part of an outfit is that it makes the person wearing it feel confident. And Barbara clearly felt confident in that dress. She even turned in a circle to show us the back and how the skirt flared. She ended up buying the dress as well as a few other floral and brightly colored blouses she found. I was happy to help her at the cash register and oh so excited that she was excited about her new clothes. As I was ringing her up, she asked me a question. "What's your name, young lady?" "Quill, ma'am." "Well, Quill, thank you. You made me feel about 40 years younger today." Me. "I hope you like it. I really mean it. You still look beautiful in bright colors. You still look beautiful regardless." "I don't know if I believe that, but maybe you're right. I think I'll buy a sun hat to go with that dress, and my husband and I can go on a picnic. We haven't done that in a while." "That sounds like fun, and the weather's getting warm enough for it." We chat about the weather a bit more and her plans for each new outfit she got. The entire interaction made my day. I hope the next time I see Barbara, she has that sun hat she wanted. So thanks for being with us. The RR Show is a production of Evergreen Podcasts and Wessler Media. Now, if you'd be so kind, please follow or subscribe to our show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're feeling extra nice, you might as well leave a 5-star review. But for more, visit the website, rrshow.com. That is rrshow.com. I'm your host, Vince, and we'll see you next time here on The RR Show.